Okay, so for lesson 18, we're moving on from adding and now we're going to work on subtracting. The objective says I will subtract measurements. So we're going to work some with the place value chart and some without the place value chart. So you will need your piece of paper definitely for the beginning of this. Okay, so our first problem is 825 minus 132. So I want you to go ahead and write that on your piece of paper. And next to that, you're going to draw your place value chart. Remember, it's not going to look just like mine does with this box, but you will need to draw your lines and put your H, T, and O. You won't need the T for the thousands place because we're not going to be up to the thousands place because we have an 800 minus 100. So that's definitely not going to get us to 1,000. So have your place value chart drawn and your problem on your paper. If you need to push pause to do that, you can do that now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put 825 in our place value chart. So we're going to put 8 hundreds in the hundreds place of the chart. We're going to put 2 tens in the tens place, and then we're going to put 5 ones in the ones place. And so when we are working on the place value chart, you will not have to put the 132 at the bottom because we're not adding these two numbers together. We are taking 132 away from 825. So this is where we start crossing out. Okay. So in the ones column, we see that we have 5 ones minus 2 ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross out 2 ones. And we have 3 left. So there was no borrowing there. So we've got 5 minus 2, that's equal to 3. So you're going to do this in the place value chart and on the actual problem. Now in the tens place, we have 2 tens minus 3 tens. Well, you see that since we only have 2, we cannot take away 3. Okay, so what we're going to have to come over is we're going to have to take and borrow 100. So when we borrow 100, it's the same thing as borrowing 10 tens because 10 tens make up 100. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come add 10 more. So we're just going to make 2 rows of 5. And then what I'm going to do here on our actual problem is what I just did here. So I went to the hundreds place and I took 100 away. So now I have 700 left. And then what I did was add 10 more tens, okay, which now altogether I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, here, I'm counting it wrong. This is 10 and then this is 2. So now our 2 turns into a 12 because now we have 12 tens. So make sure you put that on your actual problem as we're doing it in our place value chart. So now when we're looking at it, we're saying that we have 12 tens and we need to take away 3 tens. So now we can go and mark out 3 tens. So I'm going to mark out 1 here, and 1 here. So that leaves me with 5 in this row and 4 in this row, and I know that that is 9. So 12 take away 3 is equal to 9. So we're going to put that on the actual problem as well. And now we just need to go to the hundreds place. Now we have 7 hundreds left and we need to take away 1. So I'm going to cross out 1. I have 5 in this row and 1 in this row. So 5 and 1 together give me 6. So that tells me that my answer to the subtraction problem was 693. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next one. On your paper, I want you to put 785 minus 36. And then I want you to draw your place value chart next to that. You really just need the hundreds, tens, and ones part of your chart. Once you have that written, you can push play so we can move on. Okay, so since we're subtracting, we just need to put our largest number into the place value chart. So since we have a 7 in the hundreds place, we're going to put 7 hundreds in our hundreds part. We have 8 tens, so we're going to put 8 in our tens part of our chart. And then we have 5 ones, so we're going to go and put 5 ones in the ones part of our chart. Okay, so now we are ready to subtract 36 from 785. So we start in the ones place. I see that I have 5 ones and I need to take 6 away. You can't take 6 away from 5, so that means we're definitely going to have to go borrow from the tens place. Okay, so since we didn't have 6 here to take away, we're going to go borrow. So we're going to take 1 10 away, and that is going to give us 10 ones. So we're going to add 10 ones over here. Now we're going to go over here on our actual problem and do what we just did. So we went to our tens place, took 1 10 away, and that left us with 7 tens. And since we added 10 to our ones place, we now have 5, 10, 15 ones. So we're going to change our 5 to a 15. And now we can do 15, take away 6. So we're going to take away 6 ones and see how many ones we are left with. So I've got 5 in this row and 4 in this row, so that leaves me with 9. So I know that 15 minus 6 is 9, so I'm going to put that on my place value chart, and I'm going to put that on my actual problem. And now I'm ready to move on to the tens place. I've got 7 tens and I need to take away 3, so I can definitely do that. So I'm going to mark out 3 tens, and that's going to leave me with 2 right here and 2 right here, so that's 4. So I'm going to put that on my actual problem. And then in our hundreds place, you can see we have 7 hundreds and we don't have to take anything away from that, so that stays the same. So our answer for 785 minus 36 is 749. Okay, so the next problem you need to write on your piece of paper is 440 minus 223, and I want you to draw your place value chart beside that. Once you have that written and your place value chart drawn, you can push play so we can go on and work this out. Okay, so we need to put our largest number into the place value chart, so we're going to have 4 hundreds, we're going to have 4 tens, and then we're going to have no ones. Okay, so since we have no ones, we know from the beginning I cannot take 3 away from 0 because there's nothing there. I can't take 3 away from that. So I'm going to have to go to my tens place and I'm going to have to borrow a 10. So I'm going to cross out a 10 and I'm going to add 10 ones to my ones column in the place value chart, and I'm going to do that on my actual problem as well. I took away 1 10, so now I'm left with 3 tens. Since I added 10 to the ones column and there were nothing in there, now I have 10 tens. So now I can take, or I said 10 tens, 10 ones. So now I can take 10 ones and take away 3. So I'm going to go over here and mark out 3 ones. I've got 5 in this row and 2 in this row, so I'm left with 7 ones. So I'm going to put 7 right here on my place value chart, and I'm going to put it on my actual problem. Now I'm ready for the tens place. I've got 3 tens left in the tens place, and I need to take away 2. So we're going to mark out 2 tens, and we can see that just leaves us with 1. So we're going to put 1 here. And in the hundreds place, we have 4 hundreds, and we need to take away 2 of them. And that leaves us with 2 hundreds. So that tells us that 440 minus 223 is equal to 217. Okay, so now we are ready for the problem set. So if you want to have that out and ready for you. Okay, so we are solving the subtraction problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our problem written vertically up and down. Always remember that the largest number always goes on top because we cannot take a large number away from a smaller number. So always largest number on top when you're subtracting. Okay, and then what I want us to do is I want to make a place value chart beside the actual problem as well. So this is not going to be huge. We don't have enough room to make it huge. So smaller place value chart that we're going to make beside the actual problem, and we're going to do what we did on the problem, or not on the problem set, but the concept development, where we solve this using the place value chart and we're filling in the problem as we do that. So what I want you to do is to go through all of these and write the actual problems vertically up and down, and then draw your place value chart right next to your problem. And we're going to do that for all of these, okay? When you get down to the bottom, notice that it's got some smaller numbers in the beginning, and then the numbers that you're actually going to be subtracting, just like we did on the other ones where we did that with the adding. So when you write your actual subtraction problems, you're just going to be looking at 770 and 455, and then 924 and 893. So what you're going to do now, let me say it one more time, is you're going to write the actual problems vertically, and then you're going to write your place value chart next to your actual problem. So that way, whenever we're solving these, we're going to do it with the place value chart and fill it in on the actual problem. So go ahead and do that on all of these, and then we'll come back through and start working on them together. And then there will be a time in this video where I say, okay, I want you to do some of these on your own. So the only thing you're doing right now, you're not solving anything, you're writing the problems. And beside each problem, you're getting your place value chart drawn. So just get that done for now, and then push play whenever when you're ready to start working on the problems. Okay, so you should have all of your problems written and your place value charts drawn, so we're ready to get started. Okay, so our first problem is 60 minus 24, so we're going to come over here to the tens place and put 6 in the tens place, and we've got 0 ones, so we're going to put 0 ones in the ones place. So now we're ready to start working out. So since we know we have 0 ones and we have to take away 4, we're going to have to get some ones over here in our ones place. So we're going to go to our tens place, take 1 away, so now we can add 10 more to our tens place, or I'm sorry, to our ones place. So now we have 10 ones. So we're going to come and do that to our actual problem. We took 1 10 away, so now we've got 5 tens, and we added a 10 to the ones place, which took our 0 ones to 10 ones. So now we can do 10 ones minus 4, so we're going to take away 4 ones, and that leaves us with 5 in this row and 1 in this row, so that's 6. So we're going to put 10 minus 4 was equal to 6. We have 5 tens, and we need to take away 2, so we're going to take away 2, and that leaves us with 3 tens. So our answer to this problem was 36. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here for our next one. Working it out on the place value chart and the actual problem. So start with our largest number. We have 300, so we're going to put 3 in the hundreds place. We have 6 tens, so we're going to put 6 tens in the tens place. And then once again, we have 0 ones. So since we have no ones, we cannot take away 4. So we're going to go borrow 1 10, and that's going to give us 10 ones. So we're going to put 10 ones in our ones place. And we're going to do that on our actual problem. We took 1 10 away, so now we have 5 tens left. And now our 0 ones turns into 10 ones. So now we can do 10 ones minus 4. So we're going to take away 4 ones. And that, once again, just like the first problem, leaves us with 6. So 10 minus 4 was 6. And now we have 5 tens, and we need to take away 2. So we're going to take away 2, and we're left with 3 tens. And then our hundreds place, we have 3 hundreds, but we don't have to take anything away from that. So we're still left with 3 hundreds. So our answer is 336. Okay, now moving on to 360 minus 224. So we've got 3 hundreds. I'm going to put that in the hundreds place. We have 6 tens. We're going to put 6 tens in the tens place. And then we have 0 ones. So still starting with 0 minus 4 again. We cannot do that. So we're going to take 1 10 away and add 10 ones to our ones place. And we're going to do that on our actual problem as well. We took 1 10 away, so now we're left with 5 tens, and our 0 ones turned into 10 ones. So taking away 4 ones again, and mine are not crossing out correctly, and we are left with 6 ones. So 10 minus 4 was 6. Now we're at our tens place. We have 5 tens, and we need to take away 2. So when we take away 2, we're left with 3 tens. And then in our hundreds place, we have 3 hundreds, and we need to take 2 of them away. So now we're left with 100. So this is 136. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do on these next 3 is I'm going to have you solve these on your own. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going I'm going to have you solve them on your own, and you're going to push play to check your answers. But whenever you push play, I'm going to go through all the steps that I just did. So that way, in case you get it wrong, you can see what you did wrong. But so whenever you push play, you're going to see all these blank again, and I'm going to start working through them. So what I'm going to have you do is you're just going to fast forward it just a little bit just to see what the actual answer was and see if you got it right. If you didn't get it right, you'll need to go back and rewind it just to listen to what I said to see where you went wrong. And if you got it right, fast forward it a little bit again, see if you got this one correct. If you didn't get it correct, rewind it a little bit to see where you went wrong. And then the same way with this one, fast forward the video some just a little bit to see what this actual answer was. If you got it right, then we're just going to move on together. If you didn't get it right, you'll need to rewind it just a little bit to see where you went wrong in your steps. So what I'm going to have you do right now is I'm going to have you work on D, E, and F. And when you have those completed, push play and follow the steps that I just said to see if you got these correct or incorrect. Okay, so for 518 minus 21, I'm going to put 5 hundreds in the hundreds place. I'm going to put 110, and then I'm going to put 8 ones. So my first step is to take 1 away from 8, which I can do. That's very simple. So I'm left with 7 ones. So this 8 minus 1 is 7. I have 1 10, and I need to take away 2 tens. So I cannot do that. So I'm going to have to go to the hundreds place and borrow 100. In 100, there are 10 tens, so that's why I'm putting 10 tens over here in my tens place. So I'm going to do that on my actual problem. I took 100 away, so from this 500, I'm now at 400s. And I added 10 more tens to my tens column. So if I have 10 right here and I had 1 to begin with, my tens column now have 11 tens in it. So now I have 11 tens, and I need to take away 2. So I'm going to take away, whoopsie. Let me try that again. I'm going to mark out 2 tens. So I'm left with 5 in this row and 4 in this row. So I'm left with 9 tens. And in my hundreds place, I still have 4 hundreds. I don't have to take anything away from that. So I am at 497 now as the answer to this problem. Okay, so this next one, 629 minus 268. I'm going to put 600s in my hundreds place of my my place value chart. I've got 2 tens, and then I've got 9 ones. So the first step that I need to do is 9 minus 8, and I can take away 8 from 9, so I'm going to go ahead and mark out 8 ones, and after I've marked out my 8 ones, that's going to leave me with 1 1, so 9 minus 8 is 1. Now I'm going to move on to my tens place. I have 2 tens, but I need to take away 6. So I do not have enough tens to be able to take away 6. So I need to go borrow from my hundreds place. 100 has 10 tens, so I'm going to add 10 tens over here in my tens place. And then I'm going to do that on my actual problem. I had to borrow from 100. Now I have 5 hundreds. And now instead of having 2 tens, I have 12 altogether. So now I can take 6 away from my 12 tens. So we're going to mark out 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm left with 5 in this row and 1 in this row. So I've got 6 tens left. Now I have 500s, and I need to take away 2. So when I take 2 away from my 500s, I'm left with 300s. So this answer is 361. Okay, moving on to the next one, 938 minus 440. I'm going to put 9 hundreds in the hundreds place on my chart. I've got 3 tens, and then I've got 8 ones. Okay, so the first step is to take 0 ones away from 8 ones. So we can definitely do that because we don't have to take away anything. So in our ones place, it stays 8. Then we have 3 tens, but we need to take away 4. So we cannot take away 4 from 3 because that's not enough. So we're going to come over here to our hundreds place and take away 100, which is the same thing as 10 tens. So we're going to put 10 tens in our tens column of our place value chart, and we're going to come do that on the actual problem. So we had 9 hundreds, but we've got to take away 100, so that leaves us with 8 hundreds. And we had 3 tens, but we added 10 more tens, which now gives us 13 tens. And now we can go ahead and solve 13 tens minus 4 tens. So we're going to take away 4 tens in our tens column, and we're left with 5 in this row and 4 in this row, so that leaves us with 9 tens. We have 8 hundreds. Well, we did have 8. I guess I put the wrong amount. That was supposed to be 9. Okay, so we did have 800s. Okay, now we have 800s, and I need to take away 4, so I'm going to take away 4. So I am left with 400s, so the answer to this problem is 498. Okay, so moving on to these three, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to work them out just like we've done on these, and then you're going to push play. You'll have to fast forward a little bit to see what the actual answer was. If you didn't get the actual answer correct, you'll need to rewind it so you can see the steps that I took and see where you went wrong on a step. But if you got it right, you can fast forward a little bit to the next one to see if you got that one correct as well. So make sure you're rewinding if you did not get them correct and seeing where you went wrong. But if you got them right, you can fast forward a little bit. So go ahead and push pause and solve these three, and push play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so we've got 307 minus 130. So I've got to put 3 hundreds, 0 tens, and 7 ones in my place value chart. So first things first is we have to take 7 ones and we take away 0. So that's going to be easy. We don't have to take anything away. We're still left with our 7 ones. We have 0 tens, but we have to take away 3. So we can definitely not take away 3 because we don't have anything there. So we've got to go borrow from our hundreds place, and that turns into 10 tens. So now we're going to fix that on our actual problem. Took 1 away from our hundreds place, so now we have 2 hundreds left, and our 0 tens turned into 10 tens. So now we can take 3 tens away from our 10 tens, and we took 3 away, and we're left with 5 in this row and 2 in this row, so that's 7. And then we have 2 hundreds, and we need to take 100 away, so that leaves us with 100, so the answer to this is 177. Okay, so we've got 307 again, working with that same number. So I'm going to put 300s in the hundreds place, nothing in our tens place, and then I'm going to put 7 ones in our ones place. First thing that we have to do is take 7 ones and take away 4. So 4 is less than 7, so I can definitely take 4 away from my 7. When I took 4, oh wait, look, never mind, I did that wrong. I put 8 ones in that column instead of 7. So let me redraw that again. So I've got 7 ones and I need to take away 4. So I'm going to cross out 4. And when I cross out 4 ones, I am left with 3 ones. So I'm going to put that on the actual problem. Now going to the tens place, we see that we have 0 tens, but we need to take 3 away. So we cannot do that because we have none to take away. So we've got to go to our hundreds, borrow 100. 100 turns into 10 tens. So I'm going to put that, and I'm going to go do that on the actual problem. I took 100 away, so I'm left now with 200s, and our 0 tens turned into 10 tens. So now we have 10 tens, and we need to take away 3. So when we take away 3 tens, we are left with 7. And now in our hundreds place, we have 2 hundreds, and we need to take away 2. So now we have no hundreds left, so we're not going to put anything there. So our answer to this was 73. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have 807 minus 732. So we're going to put 800s in the place value chart. We're going to put 0 tens, and then we've got 7 ones. Okay, so in the ones place we have 7 minus 2, so we can take 2 away from our 7, and that leaves us with 5. So 7 minus 2 is 5. We have 0 tens, but we need to take away 3. So we're going to have to go borrow from our hundreds place, which now it turns into 10 tens. So we're going to put 10 over here in our place value chart for the tens place. And we're going to do that on our actual problem. Since I took 100 away, I now have 7 hundreds, and now my 0 tens turned into 10 tens. So we're going to put a 10 right here. So now we can take away 3. And when we take 3 away from 10, we are left with 7. And then in our hundreds place, we now have 7 hundreds, and we need to take away 7. So I'm just going to mark all through these because we're taking them all away. And so since we have no hundreds left, we're not going to put anything there. So this was equal to 75. Okay, so on these last two, the first thing that we're going to have to look at is our 2 kilometers minus our 1 kilometer, because that's the numbers that are just standing alone besides the other problem we have to work on. So if I've got 2 minus 1, I know I'm going to have 1 kilometer that I'm working with, and then I'm going to have to figure out how many meters, that's what this M stands for, how many meters are going to go with that, and that's where 770 minus 455 comes in. And then the same thing for this, we've got 3 kilograms minus 1 kilogram, and so that gives us 2 kilograms, and we'll have to figure out how many grams are going to go with our kilograms, and that's where 924 minus 893 comes in. So you're going to do the same thing that we just did. You're going to solve these on your own using the actual problem and the place value chart. When you're done, you can push play to check it. If you fast forward, just to see if you got it right. If you didn't get it right, you'll need to rewind some to see where you went wrong in your steps. So go ahead and solve these and push play when you're ready to check them. Okay, so 770 is going to have to go into our place value chart. So I've got 7 hundreds, I've got 7 tens, and I have 0 ones. So in our first ones place, we know we're going to have to borrow, because if I have 0 ones and I have to take away 5, I can't do that until I get some ones. So I'm going to go to my tens place here. I'm going to take 1 10 away, and that turns into 10 ones. So now I have 10 ones on the ones place of my chart, and I'm going to do that on the actual problem. Whoopsie. Okay, so we had 7 tens, took 1 away, now we have 6, and now our 0 ones turned into 10 ones. So now we can take 10 and take 5 away. So I'm just going to draw a line through that row because I know that there's 5 in that row. So that leaves me with 5 left. And now in my tens place, I have 6 tens, and I need to remove 5. So I know that this row has 5, so I'm just going to draw a line through that again. So that leaves me with 1 10 left. And then in my hundreds place, I have 7 hundreds. That stayed the same. And I need to take away 4. So I'm going to come cross out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that leaves me with 1, 2, 3 hundreds. So the answer was 315. So with my 1 kilometer, I have 315 meters. Okay, moving on to the next one. 924 minus 893. So I'm going to put 900s in my hundreds column. And I'm going to put 2 tens, and then I'm going to put 4 ones. Okay, so first thing is I've got 4 ones, and I need to take away 3, so I can do that. That leaves me with 1 1. In my tens place, I have 2 tens, but I need to take away 9, so I definitely cannot take 9 away from 2, so I'm going to come over here to my hundreds place and borrow 100, which turns into 10 tens. Now I'm going to do that on my actual problem. Took 1 away from our hundreds place, so now we have 8 hundreds left, and our 2 tens now turned into 12 tens. So we're going to fix that on the problem. So now that we have 12 tens, we need to take away 9. So we're going to cross out 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that leaves me with 3 tens. And I have 8 hundreds, and I need to take away 8, so I'm just going to take away all of them. I'm left with no hundreds, so the answer to this was 31. So we have 31 grams that went with our 2 kilograms. Okay, now we're finally ready for the back side. Number 2 says, the total weight of 3 books is shown to the right. So we've got 3 books that equal 405 grams. If 2 books weigh 233 grams, how much does the third book weigh? It says use a tape diagram to model. We're not going to use a tape diagram. We're just going to use our place value chart. So if all of the books weigh 405 grams, that's our biggest number. That's the total there. That is going to go at the top of our subtraction problem. So if we take 233 away from 405, what number that is left over, the answer to that, is going to be how much that third book weighs. So we're going to have to take 405 minus 233, and you are going to draw your place value chart out here beside this as well. So once you have solved this to see how much that third book weighs, come over here underneath this and write your answer in a sentence telling how much the third book weighs. So go ahead and solve this using this in your place value chart and write your answer in a sentence, and once you have that done, you can push play to check your answer. Okay, so you had 4 hundreds, 0 tens, and then you had 5 ones. Okay, so you have 5 ones and you need to take away 3, so you can do that. So that leaves you with 2 ones. You have 0 tens and you need to take away 3, so we cannot do that. So we're going to go borrow from our hundreds place, which then turns into 10 tens, and you needed to do that on your problem as well. So our 4 hundreds then turned into 3 hundreds, and our 0 tens then turned into 10 tens. So now we can take away 3 of our tens, and that left us with 7 tens. And we had 3 hundreds, and we need to take away 2, so that left us with 100. So your sentence should have said that the third book weighs 172 grams. Okay? Now you're ready for number 3. It says the chart to the right shows the lengths of 3 movies. The movie Champions is 22 minutes shorter than The Lost Ship. So if The Lost Ship is 117 minutes, and then this Champions movie is 22 minutes shorter, if we take 22 minutes away from our 117, that will tell us how long this Champions movie is. So for this, you're going to do what we've been doing. Use your place value chart, solve it, and instead of writing the actual answer in a sentence, I want you to come over here and in this chart, put how long Champions movie actually is. So go ahead and solve this using your place value chart, write how long this Champions movie actually is, and once you have that done, you can push play. Okay, so when you worked that out, you should have got that the Champions movie was 95 minutes long. Okay, so part B says how much longer is Magical Forest than Champions? So if Champions is 95 minutes long and Magical Forest is 140 minutes long, you see that this says how much longer. So this is that one, like how many more or how much more. This says how much longer. So those are clue words that you're subtracting. So you're going to be taking 145 and subtracting 95 from that to see how much longer the Magical Forest is than the Champions movie. So we're going to do what we've been doing, get your place value chart drawn and solve this, and then this one over here to the side, I will want you to write your answer in a sentence. Okay, so when you subtracted those, you should have got 50, so that tells you that Magical Forest is 50 minutes longer. Okay, so this last one's going to take a few steps. It says the total length of a rope is 208 centimeters. Scott cuts it into 3 pieces. The first piece is 80, the second piece is 94, so we have to figure out how long is the third piece. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put that first and that second piece together, see how long those two actually are, and if we take that away from the total length of the rope, the number that we have left will tell us how long that third piece is. So we're going to take our 94 and our 80 and we're going to add that together so we know how much those are together. So that way we know how much to take away from 208. So this one, just a simple addition problem. You won't need a place value chart for this. So when we add 4 and 0, 0, we know we're left with 4. And our 9 plus 8 is 17. So that tells us that the first and second piece or 174. Okay, so if we know the whole thing is 208 and we're trying to figure out how much the third or how long the third piece is, we'll take the first two pieces away from the whole thing, and what we're left with is going to be how long that third piece is. So we're going to do what we've been doing, do this subtraction problem using the place value chart, and then answer the question in a sentence telling us how long that third piece of rope actually is. So when you're done with that, you can push play. Okay, so when you subtracted 208 minus 174, you got 34, so your sentence should have said that the third piece is 34 centimeters. Okay, now you're ready for the exit ticket. On these three, I do want you to write them up and down like we've been doing and use the place value chart. And then on this problem right here is exactly the one that we just did on the bottom of the problem set. It's exactly the same, it's just you're using different numbers and they're making a banner instead of, what did we just have? A piece of rope. So if you need help with this one, go to the one that we just now did on the last of the problem set. So place value charts with these, you'll definitely have to use a place value chart on the second part of this problem. So when you're done with your exit ticket, bring that to me so we can go over it.